tell the teachers and say good morning, and you want to hear everyone enthusiastic about taking this time out of your day. So I'm gonna say it one more time and just act like we are happy to be here and hear what this young man has to say. Good evening. Good evening. That's better. That's better. Well, my name is David McRae. Many of you know I'm the principal at the high school, and I'm here to welcome you to the first annual State of the City meeting that we're having this afternoon. Mr. Young asked me to come and introduce him tonight, and I was kind of skeptical. I didn't know what type of crowd we would have, and I said, well, you actually want me to introduce you? And he said, yes, and I was took that as an honor, and I would like to thank you for that. I've not known Mr. Young long, but one thing I do know about him that we have in common, we are avid Falcon fans, and any man that likes the Falcons, and as much as I do, he's a good friend of mine. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, well, before I bring him up, just one brief thing I want to let you all know. Tonight, it's going to be more of an informative session. It's not going to be a kind of Q&A where you can ask questions of the speaker, but immediately following the program, we have a light reception set up in a reception hall for you all to where you can sit down with Mr. Young and ask some questions, and he'll try to give you the best answer that he can at this time. So without further ado, I present you the mayor of McRae-Helena, Mr. Mike Young.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. He said that he was skeptical. I was a little skeptical because I said, I know Mr. Ray and I've heard his speeches. How am I going to follow him? But again, I'd like to welcome everybody here. Before we get started, I want to thank some people that helped make this happen tonight. And to tell First where we are now, there's been a lot of work put into this auditorium. And thank you for what you do, and thank you for allowing us to have this being here tonight. And you see all the beautiful flower arrangements. I know having some issues here. All right. CJ, forcing here. Let's try the other one. How about that? Is that better? All right. CJ's Floors and Gifts have donated these for us to use tonight, and they come in and use their time and set them up for us. Stone Studio, who's noticed the cloth and the easel over here? We got some curiosity, I hope so. You'll see what they've done and helped us tonight. Sherry Young, hey Miss Sherry, she's doing our refreshments tonight, and the Eastman Examiner has come in to record it for us and broadcast on his network.
Hey, this is Jimmy Jones with the Eastman Examiner. I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors for making it possible to share this video with you. The McRae Dairy Queen, home of hot eats and cool treats. So if you're by the Dairy Queen, make sure and thank them for making it possible to share this video.
Yeah, I want you to tell me where the best place to get an ice cream treat in McRae is.
Right here at Dairy Queen of McRae.
So where is the best place to get a hot meal in McRae, Georgia?
Dairy Queen.
And do we have any specials going on this week?
Got the double cheeseburger meal for $4.29. Includes a fry and a drink.
What kind of special ice creams you got?
The Blizzard of the Month pumpkin pie.
And thanks to Stamps Walker Insurance Agency in McRae for also helping make this video possible. Stamps Walker also has a location in Eastman, Georgia.
So if you're out and about to any of these and you can show them the love back and appreciation, please do. All right, let's get started. Why am I here? What brought me here tonight? I ran for council, well, that was a long time ago, because I lived in one home. The home beside me had a beauty salon. And we bought the beauty salon, me and my wife, Kristen, and we moved it next door, and the City of Helena said, you can't use it as well, we was using it for a dog room, you can't do that. Well, why? Well, it's not zoned for dogs. It's not zoned for any kind of commercial use. So I was concerned why we were told that, and so I ran for city council. We'll talk a little bit more about zoning in a little while. 8 years as council, ran for mayor of the city of Helena, and we were put into a situation with our wastewater and what we were going to do with it. And that led us to discussions with the city of McRae about taking on our wastewater extra capacity. That, of course, you all are familiar with, led to talks of the city merger. What happened was, myself and Mayor Bradfield, we sat down and we talked about, can this happen? Is it something that we can really bring before the council? Is it something we can really bring before the public and make happen? So after several talks with some attorneys, we brought it before both city councils. And what I was most proud of out of this whole thing was that we had 6 members from the city of Helena and 6 members from the city of McRae who put aside title and opened their mind to what's best for the city of McRae-Helena. And so we assembled a task force of members of McRae, members of Helena, and we started talking about the process of the merger. What are we going to do? We brought the Carl Vinson Institute of Government in, and in January of this year, we became the city of McRae-Helena. All right. I want to talk a little bit tonight about perception and how it relates to us. I want to see a show of hands in the room of who would jump out of an airplane for $100,000 in cash money. You wouldn't? 2?
With a parachute?
No parachute. All right, no parachute? Nobody?
No.
All right. I didn't tell you the plane was flying. It's on the ground. Now who would jump out of the airplane for $100,000? All of us. It's perception. Tell you one more little. I need some enthusiasm. I kind of get nervous up here, and I need some feedback. Let's talk about one more. There was a company shut down, and the company said, "Hey, listen, our employees are going to try to take everything out of here if we don't guard these gates every day." So they called a few people trying to steal hammers and saws. Well, here come old Billy. He was bouncing through there and he had a wheelbarrow full of sawdust. The guard stopped and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "What you got in sawdust?" He said, "I don't have anything in the sawdust." "Are you sure?" He said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Do you mind if I feel around in the sawdust?" "No, sir, feel around." So the guard, he feels all around in there. He says, "Okay, we'll take off." So the next day, sure enough, here comes Billy again with his wheelbarrow full of sawdust. The guard stopped him again. He said, "Look, I know that you're doing something here. You're not taking a wheelbarrow full of sawdust for anything." The guard says, "I'm going to empty it out on the ground. Do you mind?" "No, sir, you can empty it out. I'm not taking anything, sir." So the guard empties the sawdust out, kicks it around, goes all through it. Sure enough, there's nothing in there. So the third day rolls around. Here comes Billy with his wheelbarrow full of sawdust. The guard says, "Billy, look." He says, "I know you're stealing something. Is this perception? Is he assuming that he's stealing something? Do we think he is?" He said, I'm not going to even turn you in." He said, I just need to know what you're doing." And he said, "Well, guard," he said, "this third wheelbarrow I was stole this week." Perception was all in the sawdust. All right, how does perception relate to us and affect us in McRae-Helena? I want to talk about it a little while. Facebook and social media has told us that Telfair County is the poorest county in the United States, right? I mean, it's got to be true. It's on the internet, right? All right, are we? I sometimes look around and I see this community, not McRae-Helena, not Telfair County, this entire community come together for one another like none other. That to me is the richest. Let's talk about it on the financial side. Let's talk about it on the statistics side. We probably got 30 people in here, 40. There'll be people that tell me, "I knew nothing about this tonight. I didn't know." That one Facebook post that was negative about Telfair County in about 2 hours had the attention of everybody. You know why? Because we shared it. We talked about it. All right? Well, what if what if one time that for McRae-Helena, Telfair County, that we went out and we started talking about what we have ahead of us. Let's quit talking about where we've been. Let's quit talking about being the poorest county. It was a BS article anyway. We can make statistics say what we want to. How can we change our perception of who we are when we ridicule ourselves? Nobody's going to change their perception when we talk bad about us. You agree? So one of our biggest challenges ahead of us is to start talking about where we're headed. We don't have a hospital, I know. We could have had a Walmart, they say. Do we? What are we going to do? We're going to embrace what we have. We're going to come together. You can elect the best elected officials possible for the county, for the city, but guess what? We mean nothing without everybody, the whole community coming together, supporting one another. The mayor's title is just a title. It takes all of us, y'all. So I want to share tonight about some things that we have going on in the city that maybe you know about, maybe you don't. We're going to talk about some tough issues. We're going to talk about some good ones. First, I'd like to talk about economic development and kind of share some things that we have going on in that arena. I'm going to read from this. Who's heard of the McRae-Helena estates that's possibly coming, the tax credit housing?
The what?
All right, it's tax credit housing. It started in the city of McRae a couple of years ago, and we're going to talk about zoning some more, but the zoning issue with the estates was, and I agree, as a property owner in that area, the way that the tax credit housing was approaching it, which it just wouldn't have worked. We was changing people's entire residential neighborhood into an opportunity to have multifamily housing all through it. And so, but after that fell through, I followed up with this company and I said, hey, tell me a little bit more about this. I want to understand a little bit more about what you have going on. And we have a proposed site. We don't know yet if it'll be approved. It's going to be through the Department of Community Affairs. And if it gets approved, some of the things that are included with this, it's about an $8 million housing development with total construction development cost. It's going to create about 4 jobs. It's a property manager, an assistant manager, an activities director, and a maintenance director. It's going to have 12 1-bedroom, 1 bath, 24 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 12 3-bedroom and 2 baths, and a development clubhouse. It's about $1.3 million on local business and $225,000 for government services. And all tenants must pass a criminal background check. All tenants must have positive financial credit of 50% and above. All tenants required to meet minimum credit score. All tenants must show proof of employment, and all tenants must have a monthly income that is 3 times the amount of the monthly rent. And there's some more information on this that I can share with anybody who would like to have it. Why did I feel this is important? If we're going to attract businesses and industry, we got to have somewhere for the professional people to live. We probably will never have the $100,000 and $200,000 job market for people to work at. If we do, great. I tell people all the time, I want to be more than we are, but I don't want to be Macon. I love our small town community. I love that richness that we have to reach out and know one another. I love going to town and people know who I am. They know me by might. They don't know me by mayor. And so I felt this was an important project for us to go after, and hopefully in November we'll find out if we're approved for it or not. The Griffin warehouse that we have here. Economic development starts with what you already have. We sometimes think that, well, let's go, we need the 4,000 man industry. Can we support that? Do we have the workforce for it? We do have the workforce investment people coming into the old Helena City Hall, and they're going to be setting up there. And, the Milan prison is shut down, and they're going to be trying to build our workforce around here. But the Griffin warehouse is expanding to the backside of the industrial park. They bought 14 acres back there. That's economic development. That's going to create about 60 jobs, I think. Our local maintenance and improvement grant, some of you know it as LMIG, and the Transportation Investment Act, the TIA. We're paving 8 different roads with the TIA and 2.8 miles with the LMIG. Go back to perception, and I want to talk where I was wrong. I voted against the transportation 1 cent splash. Worst mistake I've ever made. If I'd have knew how important that 1 cent was to add to my dollar for what we're getting now, I would have voted for it. But I let a couple of people tell me it's crazy, and I let social media locally tell me how to vote. Perception. All right, we're also doing a target industry analysis. What this is, it's coming into McRae-Helena, and it's targeting areas that we are strong in, areas of secondary strength. And you would think that this is an expensive process, and it is. But we've worked through Georgia Southern University and with the Bureau of Research and Economic Development, and this is free to us. And so far in our preliminary findings, the areas that we're doing well in is manufacturing, real estate, landscaping, transportation and warehousing, and administrative services. What the second part of this thing will do is it's going to tell us what we need to go after as a city that we can support and that will support our strong suits here. And I think that's very important. What that's going to do is allow us to build a portfolio to send out to developers, to send out to these, or to load up and go to these the industrial job fairs where they're looking for cities and they're looking for locations to come up at. If we don't go after it, it's not coming here. Can we support new business and industry with what we have as a water and wastewater system? Are you familiar with the new water tower that was built? And if you will, and we're going to be McRae-Helena. And we're going to quit being Helena, we're going to quit being McRae. But for tonight, when we talk about some issues, I want to talk about old Helena and old McRae, okay? If we can just do that for tonight. But if you notice the new water tower in old Helena, that was on a CDBG grant for $500,000. What started that, we had no idea about the merger at that time. We had some citizens complaining of low water pressure on that side of town, so we were, making an effort to correct that. Well, now, with McRae-Helena, what we realize is, man, that was way more important than we ever knew. Now we're going to have a water system of both cities that's combined together that we can support a lot more industry. We have the old Helena wastewater facility, which created the whole merger in itself. That initially our engineers were saying, okay, we're just going to take that offline and we're going to use the McRae spray field as our complete wastewater treatment. And I said, no. Well, we don't need it. Yeah, we do. Why think about right now? I love Lieutenant Governor, and he speaks, and I love hearing him speak, and he speaks on leadership, and he speaks on elected officials, and he says, if you're looking for right now, if you're an elected official that you're looking for results right now, then you're probably not in a good position. You're probably not a good leader. We need to be thinking about the future. So I said, no, y'all, let's keep this. We need to keep this wastewater plant open. That's another 400,000 gallons. So where I'm going at is we're looping the two systems together. We're going to have plenty of wastewater to bring in new industry. Hey, Mr. Jimmy. That would be fine. Thank you for coming. All right, so that brings us to the next part of what are we doing in terms of economic development. I'm sure that you've seen, and I hope that you've seen some of the renovations going on in downtown. We have an individual who's put a lot of money into downtown. He's making some of the businesses look really good. It's a mixed-use development. It's going to be for commercial or residential. And that leads us into the streetscape. I heard when McRae was doing the first part of the streetscape project, I heard negative about that. Really, I heard people saying, man, that is crazy. Why are they putting money in the streets? Listen, it was a grant. Somebody was going to get it. We should have been thanking the elected officials. Thank y'all for going out and getting that. It looks great. When people come into town, guess what the first thing they see? So we're going to continue that. It was already, the City of McRae already had this in place to move on down to 2nd Street, and we're going to complete that. We're meeting tomorrow to discuss the environmental impact of it and move forward with that. So downtown is starting to shape up. We're also using Georgia Southern University to do a downtown study for us. We found in 2000, 2001 maybe, 6, where the University of Georgia had came in and done a downtown study. What this is going to do, I knew nothing about it, but what this is going to do is give us a long-term goal for downtown and give us a downtown look. And so we're waiting to hear back from them to see how that goes. But all this brings me into one of the hard topics of the night, and something that most of you, when you reached out to me, you asked me about, you asked me to talk about, and that's zoning and code enforcement. And one of the criticism of downtown is, what good is a pretty sidewalk when you have an ugly building? I agree. Code enforcement is a problem all over the United States. It's just not here. What we're doing as a city, we're looking at about 4 or 5 different ordinances that we can put together to see what best fits us. Here's the problem. I can't remember the city, but I was at a GMA conference, and this city had a whole unit set aside for code enforcement. That's all they done. Somebody come to them and said, hey, what about the house right across the street from y'all? It's a hoarder? It's a cat lady? What are y'all gonna do? Oh, we're gonna address it. We're gonna clean it up. The guy that was speaking to us was the chief of the code enforcement. He said, you know how long it took us? We have an established code enforcement. You know how long it took us? 2.5 years. You know why we completed it then? It burned. It's hard. We can talk about the downtown structures. Well, why can't we just make the property owner clean it up? We'll fine them if they don't, okay? Then we'll condemn it. Well, in just a minute, we're going to talk about millage rate. We can condemn it, and we can raise the millage rate and put it on the backs of the taxpayers again to make downtown look beautiful. I mean, there's repercussions for condemning. Somebody has to take ownership of it. All right? I've rode through neighborhoods, and I've seen some terrible looking yards. All right? Grandma passes away. She's had that Buick since she was a teenager. It don't work no more, but I'm gonna sit over here in the corner of my yard. That means something to me. Well, weeds grow up around it. Rats bed up in it. And cousin Jesse, he kicks over and, well, now his vehicle means something to me. You see where I'm going? Alright? Well, Mayor, look. You gotta do something about those vehicles piling up in that yard. Okay? We're gonna find them. We're gonna find old Granny. $100 a day till she cleans it up and cuts the grass. She don't cut it. She don't pay us. What do we do? 13 would be down here interviewing us if we locked her up. Do you take her house from her? It's hard. So what we've got to do, we've got to protect the values of our property. My wife spends hours and hours every week in the yard. Our yard is beautiful. How can I protect that and protect the value of our property when the person beside me don't care? That's where I need your help. That's where, we don't have all the answers. When I ran for mayor, I promised I didn't have all the answers. But we need to come together and decide, what's best for McRae-Helena. How can we address these issues? How can we protect our property? How can we make downtown look better without locking grandma up and without having the expense of condemning a building and restoring it ourselves. I promised to talk about the millage rate. Oh boy, has that been interesting. When we came into January as a new city, we had a lot of challenges ahead of us. And one of them was presenting a balanced budget to our city council. And when you have two separate budgets and really coming in blind to a lot of things, it was challenging. We had until June to finish it. And we knew that for Old Helena, what had to happen was the water rates, the sewer rates, and the millage rate matched McRae. There's no way we could bring down to meet. So that's what we done. We initially set the millage rate, we estimated our revenues of income, and we presented a balanced budget to the council. Working great, we're trucking along until August when we get the property values. And I know everybody in here, property values did not go down. I can assure you, I've already been called on ones that went up. But overall, the property values went down. And so what we had to do was, we're not bringing in any more revenue. What we had to do was just set the millage rate at a price that we brought the same in. I mean, it's either that or cut services. So I got an ugly message from an individual who said, look, you just cost yourself a position next time, you won't be elected mayor again. And I said, look, I assure you, sir, that I've been called stupid for giving up a job and a career that I love to be mayor. Why do you do it, Mike? Because I feel like I can make a difference. I could have got out of here a long time ago. I didn't have to buy a home here. I had a great job in Warner Robins. I could have lived there. I love this place. I assured him that I wouldn't make decisions for this city that was based upon me being reelected. I feel like that's what's wrong with our country today. We vote on what we feel and we support what we feel will get us reelected and what the multitude thinks. So I explained to him when he challenged me on, well, what have you done to not raise the millage rate? You know, he said, the school system has furlough days. Have you done that to your employees? So I put together a little bit of what we've done so far in the city to cut costs and savings. And this by far is not a full, detailed cost savings, but I just want to hit a few of them. We're tapping into forestry surplus. We've got a new fire truck, some containers that we have budgeted because we want to be a regional training center here with the Georgia Fire Academy, and we feel like we can do that. And we had $20,000 budgeted for a generator at the public safety building. We spent $3,000 on a generator through surplus. We've estimated with just the new truck that we got, we saved about $30,000. So about $17,000 on the generator. A lot of people are not familiar with the ISO ratings and how that affects your homeowner's insurance. We went from a class 5 to a class 4. If you do your math on the millage rate increase, if you had a property value increase as well, and you look at your class 4 insurance savings, I can just about assure you that you're probably going to wash, if not come out better. We also addressed another concern that has brought up, people told me it was a bad idea, some people told me it was a good idea, but take-home vehicles for our employees. Well, what we were seeing was miles and miles and miles put on vehicles in our city that were costing us tires, oil changes. We had, right at the first year, 2 different vehicles hit deer coming to work. And I've estimated about a $5,000 cost savings in just not allowing employees to take their vehicles home. I mean, it's right here. Drive to work, get in your city vehicle and go. We've cut $3,000 off cell phone bills in the new city. So when he told me, what have you done to the employees? It kind of rubbed me wrong because he had no idea of how much we've already done to our employees. I came in telling my employees that I was going to be a pro-employee mayor because I was an employee of the city and I know what it means. And the first thing I did was come in and cut my legs off my employers. And if I can't have pride from the employees of this city, it's sure not going to be out here with us. Right off the top, we came in and we were looking at some overtime issues and raises that have been, for both cities, have been something that just continued on and on and on. And this year, we decided not to give raises to our employees. And we also took away all the overtime. It was an astronomical amount of money that those two took away. Just in overtime cuts in the city of McRae-Helena, we cut $70,000 out of the budget this year. If we would have gave raises as scheduled for all employees this year, we would have needed another $85,000 in revenue. I think that's a pretty good cut from the employees, and I don't think I want to hit them anymore. I'm going to lose them. So we didn't have to we didn't have to raise the millage rate to equal that same revenue. We just could have cut services. What do you want to get rid of? You want to get rid of the fire department? You want to get rid of our guys that keep our streets going? You want to get rid of the police? I need y'all's help. So just right in that right there that I have, that's about $210,000 cut off the budget this year. That's a lot of money. Another thing that we're doing is Heart of Georgia Regional Commission is doing a pay scale study for us. And what that's going to do, and what we feel is fair, is when we hire someone into the city, it's not up to us after this pay scale to decide how we want to pay someone. I can't pay Heather for doing the same job Liz does $25,000 more. We have a standard, and it's not by who you know. There's a standard to go by. I'm excited to see that pay study done, and once that pay scale gets here, we're going to evaluate where we are as a city, and the fair way we feel to do this is if your position, you fall above that pay scale, we can't go in and cut people's salaries. But maybe you're froze for a minute until you catch up to that. We need to have a standard. If we don't have a standard, we're gonna sell ourselves right out of town. All right. We also do a retirement study, a safety-sensitive retirement for our safety-sensitive employees at age 55. That's our police and fire. Because we are a small town, we don't really have administrative positions in police and fire. So you have, when the fire department now gets 60 years old, you're going to have about 3 or 4 of them that's 60 years old. That's your fire protection. We need to look at a way to bring some young people into the city. Heart of Georgia is also helping us. We're going to get back into some good stuff. Who's familiar with the way we did our seal contest this year, our city seal contest? Anybody heard about that? It was outstanding. We wanted to involve the public and get the entire city on pace and together with the City of McRae-Helena. So what we did is we opened up a contest to our 6th through 12th grade kids at the high school. And they were able to design the city seal. We had 5 members from the public. It was Miss Annie Chris, Mr. David Neal, Miss Sarah Bowen, Mr. Robert Blizzard, Carmen Neely, who came in blindly, and we had all the contestants with numbers on them, came in blindly and put who they felt drew the best city seal. And it was surprising when Brandon Siebold, a 6th grader, won a seal contest. And Woodman of the World also gave $500 to the winner. Heart of Georgia is also helping us make that into a digital format. It's already completed. Some more things that we're doing in the city to cut costs is, one thing is the administrative cost of 2 utility software billings now is down to 1. And we're going to, it's called Laserfish. It's a digital filing for all of our records. That's going to cut the cost of extra filing cabinets, search times, ink and paper, and also be a great preservation of our documents for the city. Another thing that I'm excited about here is our relationship with the county commissioners. I feel that the county and the city are coming together better than I've ever seen it. And that's important for us. And I'm going to go out here and say that out of the now 13 years that I've served in city government, we have the most proactive governments in both the cities and the county that I've ever dealt with. Our police and the Telford County Sheriff's Department is working hand in hand together. We signed a mutual aid agreement, and it's already proven effective. We've solved several crimes. We've taken, and you've seen it, we've taken many drugs off the streets over the last several months since that mutual aid agreement. So the relationship there is very important. And we also, with the police department, have purchased body cameras and implemented a policy for all our officers to use it. I think that's important. I think it's going to be a thing of the future where it's required. But a cool thing about those cameras is they were purchased on a grant by Archer, Midland, and Daniels, and that's the parent company to Golden Peanut. I thought that was pretty cool. I knew tonight that probably about 30 to 45 minutes, and I don't know how long I've been talking, I was going to lose your attention. So I'm going to start closing, and we're going to start talking about what we have over here. But I need one more involvement from you. Who wants to give? Who wants to get in here with me in everything we do? Who wants to give 100%? That's all? Come on, y'all, hold your hand up. If you want to give 100%. Oh, we're giving blood. See? Perception. You want to give 100%, Heather? No, for real. We've got to come together as a community. We have to support one another. We've got to quit being cynical on who we are. If we're going to say we're the poorest county in the world, we need to be using it for somebody to get money. When I call Mr. Jimmy, I'll say, hey, we poor down here. What you going to give us from the state? But when we're talking about our community, we don't need to be telling people we're the poorest county. We don't need to be telling people we don't want to live here. I went into a business about 4 months after I was elected. And the guy said, he laughed at me. He said, what you think you're doing? I said, I don't know what you mean. He said, I've got a son graduating. He said, I'm encouraging him to get out of this place. I said, really? He said, there's nothing here, nothing going to change. I said, well, I allow myself to believe that. Then I might as well get in the truck with your son and go with him. And if you're going to keep that attitude, you should too. All right. So we was going through some stuff in when we were doing the merger. And I came across this right here, and I hope that you all, and I know that you all, because you've taken time out of your evening to come here tonight to hear what I had to say, hear what's going on with the city. And I hope it impacts you the way it has me. And you can come up here and look at it after we're done, because you're not going to be able to see it from where you are. But we had to hide it. "1907 newspaper. This article, right here, it says, McRae and Helena passed. Right below it, McRae and Helena present. See where this is going? Right below it, McRae dash Helena future. And then it says, do you see? 1907, and I could read the article, but I want you to. In 1907, they were telling us that, man, here in the future, here in the next few years, these two cities are going to see what they have, and they're going to come together, and they're going to be one. In 1907, 108 years, this is October 31st, so almost 108 years later, we make it happen. Now, since the merger, I remember going to some of the GMA meetings and telling them I was from Helena. Well, I always said I was from McRae. I'll admit it. From McRae, you know what that is? No. We're south of Dublin. Most of the time, yeah. Okay, I know where Dublin is. Every now and then, I had to go all the way to Macon. This year at our summer GMA convention, McRae-Helena, y'all that new city. How's that going? Y'all, we're getting attention. And we can either embrace that now and move forward with it, or we can give up on it and stay where we are. We were recognized in the Georgia City's newsletter, and this next one was big for me, and I felt like it was very important. We were recognized in Georgia Trend magazine. There's over 50,000 subscribers to Georgia Trend, and it's based upon business and government. That was huge. But I'll show you one more little thing that, to me, is very exciting. The University of Georgia Public Service and Outreach honored McRae-Helena this year. We were one of 4 cities, and we were honored as a city of the future. They see it. Why can't we? And I want to end with this. Will you help us? Thank you. We can eat now.